Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Crafting with Class. The Craft Room mini-series continues today. As a reminder, day one was a craft room tour, so you got a layout of what my craft room looks like. Today we are talking organization of stamps and dies. I'm going to be sharing how I organize my stamp sets with and without coordinating dies, as well as every type of die I have. First up are inexpensive photo boxes. I have my stamps and coordinating dies organized in this bookcase that I bought at IKEA, and it was under $20. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it absolutely did for my purposes. So I store all my dies and stamps in these photo boxes. And so, as you can see, I fit 3 boxes perfectly in each of the sections of the levels, and they slide right out very easily without disrupting the other one. So it was like, you think it was like, a custom made piece, but it was perfect. So thank you, IKEA, for under $20. And as you can see, it holds a ton. So 3 per shelf, and there are 5 shelves. So yeah, all the way to the bottom. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but it holds a lot. So I really love this, and it worked out perfectly because I intended to go to buy some of those Billy bookcases, but this was perfect. And so let me show you how each of the boxes is organized. So each of them is divided up thematically. So in this box, I have background stamps, slimline dies. These are all diamond press. These are like non-Christmas holidays, and some Latin, some Asian inspired. This one I have birthdays, wedding, baby for her, for him, sentiments, faith, get well soon, baptism, first communion, sympathy, food and drink. Things that I use for decorating my envelopes, interactive dies. I have some long fun things there. These are all dies that have some sort of shape, whether it's a frame or something like that. This is school, alphabets, technology. Below that, I have florals, nature. These are critters, and then these are animals, and there's a difference. And then at the very bottom, I have like cowboy movies, jar fillers, home mail, labels, kind of categories that don't fit. And then the last 2 are both Christmas at the bottom, since I only use them at that time. So as you can see, I have these dividers, and this is just laminated cardstock. And so these I just die cut. These are die cut letters, and so nice and big so I can see them clearly. So as you can see, they divide up each of the sections just like that, so I can see all the way to the back if there are multiple themes like these. So let's go ahead and take a look at one in particular. Okay, so this box contains birthdays, weddings, baby for her and for him. And as you can see, it is jam-packed. So the way that all my boxes are set up is that number one, they're photo boxes, but the lid I place at the bottom, so that kind of strengthens the box. And then I also reinforce the sides because I pull these out. So I don't know if you can see, but the inside is reinforced with duct tape, with white duct tape. So that has helped to, hold them together. So each section has its label. So this is, all these are for birthday, then these are for wedding, then these are baby, and so on. At the beginning of each section, I have any standalone dies first. So for example, I have these party balloons and birthday stuff. So these always are the very first ones I have in the front, and then behind the very first stamp sets are usually small ones, and I put them into the standard, I guess, plastic envelopes. that you can find, from different stamp companies. And so I usually put 4 of them like this. And so that way I can see 4 at a time, and they take up less space because, you're not putting them behind each other. So they take up a lot less space. So I have those like this next, and I put them in landscape like this. So they fit just great like that. And then I just put them, kind of, I don't know that there's a particular, way I put them. I just put the rest of them in here. I tend to put the ones I use more often towards the front. And, these are all sentiments, birthday sentiments and things like that. So same thing with the weddings. So I would have the coordinate, or any standalone dies, I should say, in the front, and then all the stamp sets in the back. Now, for example, if they have a coordinating die like this one that I've had for a long time from Lawn Fun. So this cute little wedding stamp has a coordinating dies. So I do put a magnet sheet to hold the dies in place, and I put it behind the card, or I should say the stamp panel. As you can see, I do not cut separate white cardstock. I just use the packaging that it comes in, because why not? So, less waste. And then I'll add a magnet sheet, and so that will go in just like that. Now, do they all get stamp pockets? No. For example, this one here it's in its own bag. So I just cut off the tops and I leave them in their own packaging. Unless they have a coordinating die, then I do put them in one stamp package. But if they're just like sentiment stamps like this, I leave them in their packaging. And because, again, it's just less waste. So, yeah. So like, for example, this one from Avery L of the Papel Picado has the little dies. So those are just in the back, but it does have its own stamp pocket. All right, so that's pretty much how I organize all my stamps in the same way. Now, I do use stamp pockets if they have a coordinating die, as I mentioned. I like these. These are from the Checkout Store brand, and these are like your typical size ones. I buy these at Amazon because they're less expensive than like the Avery L ones, but I have not found, these are the extra large stamp pocket dies. And so I haven't found any this size, but if I did, I would get those. So I do get the Avery L ones. This one comes 50 in a pack. These come 100 in a pack, and they're much cheaper on Amazon. And then I just buy magnetic sheets, and I just cut them to the size that I need. And so that is how I organize my stamps and coordinating dies. Okay, so here I have kind of my go-to dies. So I have alphabets and word dies, and my go-to dies in this container. And in this one, I have all my Anna Griffin dies just kind of separate. So in this box, I have like things that I use all the time, like sentiment banners, and then little embellishments, like if I want to do a little quick sequence, a little heart, little star, little bow, that I can just pull. So I have that on a full magnet sheet there in those standard stamp pockets. And then I have any envelopes, any alphabets that I have. So those are all mixed. And then behind that, I have all my word dies. And so my word dies are in a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 laminated cardstock. And then I put the full sheet of magnet sheets that I showed you before, and they're all by themes. So this is kind of thanks, celebrate, congrats. So those are all the word ones that I have. Now these are standalone, and these are also the ones that come in like the diamond press that are in black, that are hard to see, I know, because this is black magnet sheet. But this way, I'm looking at one sheet to find anything, celebrate, congrats, and not having to go through all my stamp sets. So that's what makes sense to me. Um, and so this has worked out great for me. So this one is like a sympathy, thinking of you, get well. So blessed. So anything like that that I feel like would go together. And let's see, I even have one for all my Spanish word dies. And then I also have that for my some of my border dies. So there they are. And then I also have that for my basic shapes. So all my circle dies that I have, and then these are all like squares and rectangles and so on and so forth. So anything like that I have back here. So this one has all my Anna Griffin things for her stuff. I always include the inspiration sheet and then the dies. I sometimes will use magnets, but her sticky tape holds them down really well for a long time. So I have, you know, all in the beginning, I have like my smaller dies, and then I have like the frames in here, and then slimline, and then, you know, all her stuff. And these are like border dies. And then I have them in just regular sheet protectors. So they're all in here so I can just flip, you know, and find what I need. So that is how I do those. Now, the other place that I have my dies are in these jewelry organizers. Again, everything pretty much you see I've had for years and years. But I would encourage you to go, especially at the end of seasons, and go to like Michael's and Joann's, and you know, you'll find these things like 50% off. That's when I buy. So I don't care if it's at the end of the season. I mean, nobody sees these but me. So I would rather get them 50, 60, 70% off. So what I did is like, these are all kind of, you know, like border dies, things like that, specialty dies. And so I put a piece of magnet, and you can kind of see it here. So there's a strip of magnet that is adhered to the inside pocket. And so that way, these, instead of flopping all around, will kind of sit nicely there, so I can pull them out, and then, you know, it won't disturb any of the other ones in there. And then I can just put it back in, and then it'll hold it up. For some of them, I did put the label so I know which dies are in here for the ones that I remembered to do that. So that is how I have. And then I have my doily dies here. And then in here, individual little baggies, I have like cloud borders, grass borders, things like that. I kind of like having them like that, individually in their pocket. And then on the other side, I'll look on this one. I have kind of standalone dies that are kind of related. So all these are like here, sorry, are like flourishes. These are all like clouds. And again, these are from different, packages and things, but I like putting like things together because then I will use them, or usually I will find exactly what I want instead of like, having um, cloud dies in 6 different sets. You know what I mean? So these are all like Anna Griffin, the little flowers. And again, I pulled them from different sets. Same thing with like butterflies, flourishes. So I like putting things in like parts, even though they don't come from the same manufacturer or the same set, just because that way I am more likely to get exactly what I want from my stash and use more things more often, if that makes sense. So on the other side of these with the borders, I have more standalone, but these are like, for example, those rolling flower ones. So I have all the sizes together. These are all the rolling ones, and so all the bits and pieces are together. Um, so these are bows, right? The bow ones. These are little charms, like that, all together. And there's even little spaces to hang some dies. So I've done that there. And with that one there, that was a freebie from Tailored Expressions on the back of this one. And I just have them hanging on a command hook. And so here I have all my background dies. So yeah, I just, we'll pull out whatever I need and put it back, and I can see everything I have as well. So that is how I organize dies. My other dies I have in my closet, and I have them on two shelves. So I have them here, and then below that, I have them in those two boxes there, and then the long ones are right there. And then I have another two boxes at the bottom. So as you can see outside the boxes, it says, what is inside of that. But I will show you kind of what or how I have them organized. So in this big plastic box, I have some of the smaller steel rule dies, and then I have cases for the rest of them. So these are, as you can tell, very, very old. So I don't even know. I'm sure they don't make these anymore. But these open up, and it holds these little sizzlets, right? So I'm not sure if they make these still, but so they have these are meant to cut paper, so they won't cut like heavy materials or anything. But I have a whole bunch of those. So again, I just really doubt I will ever get rid of them. So in there, I have some Cuttlebug ones. And then here in this one that's long, those are all borders. And then in this one, I have the little bit bigger ones. These, like this size. I know you can't tell what the design is, but I have all the ones that are like this size here. So that's pretty much how I have all those. And then in the boxes, and I'll just open this one up, is where I have like my long Sizzix dies, the steel ruled long ones that are like this long. So I have stored them in here. So so that's those. And then I have the Tim Holtz ones in here, and these are like the other big dies. So that's how I have those stored in there. Okay, so the other thing I talked about yesterday was these two albums. So these albums are kind of like my index. So this, I have all the wrappers, the inserts from those dies that I have in those boxes. So I can see what I have and then go to that box. And so I keep them all because number one, it serves as, for me to see what I have. And then also it gives me ideas for like shading or decorating or anything like that. So all of those dies, all the little packaging I have here for everything that I have. So that is what this is for. And then, so that's that one. And then this one is specifically for Tim Holtz's things. So all of the dies that I have of Tim's that are big dies or things like that, then I have them in here. And then I also have some other ones. And now these are not the steel rule dies. These are the regular wafer thin dies, but I am putting them in here. So these are all steel rule dies. So that is how I organize those types of dies. And finally, I use Evernote, the app, to catalog all my stamps and dies, and I highly recommend this. It's a free app, and this is how I keep track of everything I have. And if I'm looking for something specific, it is super easy to find it by just typing in a keyword, and it'll show you any stamps that you have with that particular thing that you're looking for. Highly, highly recommend. Well, that is how I organize my stamps and dies. I hope that there was something you found in there that is helpful. I will be back for day 3 and I will be sharing how I organize my coloring mediums. Until next time, bye.